Time to review a new release today. It seems the manufacturers are back on form, and I do like a new Umarex revolver. So today I have a pair to review, the Smith & Wesson 629 Classic range. Hello and welcome to AAR on Air. Yes, today I'm going to be looking at a pair of Magnum 44 replicas from Umarex, the 5-inch and the 6.5-inch Smith & Wesson 629s. Now, I have reviewed, tried and owned a few of these style revolvers, and it could be said that they're all the same. I can quite categorically state they aren't at all. As always, there's good, bad and the downright ugly. And no, I'm not going to be dropping in as many Clint Eastwood cliches and films as I can in this review, because it would be in the line of fire and probably Unforgiven. But of course, the 44 Magnum, or at least a variant of it, was made quite famous in a string of Dirty Harry films. I've tried lots of them in the past, some where the barrels are loose to the main body, others the grip keeps slipping off, some can be tuned up by simply screwing and the adjustment under the grip, some have front loading shells and others have rear loading ones, some with speed loaders and some without. Most of which don't actually work, to be fair. So let's take a look at this latest offering from Umarex under the Smith & Wesson license. The first thing that's evident is the weight. These are really heavy and a handful, with the 6.5-inch tipping the scales at a little under 1.3 kilograms or £2 14 ounces. The 5-inch comes in at 1.24 kilograms or £2 12 ounces. Both of those weights are without ammo or 12 grams CO2s on board, which is pretty darn close to the original firearms weight. The overall lengths are 308mm and 268mm for the 6.5 and 5-inch respectively. Naturally, the barrel lengths go without saying. These being BB firing versions, naturally the barrels are smoothbore. I will, however, be putting some lead pellets down them later to see if they're happy firing lead as well as the potential ricocheting steel BBs. Now, because of the smoothbore, I'm not expecting big things in the target testing, but who knows? Walk around then. These are very heavily chromed and, it must be said, finished to a high quality. No signs of peeling or any apparent likelihood of it ever happening. Certainly not in normal use. Starting from the very front, the barrels are nicely recessed to give that authentic look. Interestingly, the 6.5-inch version is more recessed than the 5-inch version. The front sights are fixed and have a red indicator inbuilt to aid sighting. Moving down the barrels, the tops are beautifully ridged and finished. This flows back to the adjustable rear open sights in a contrasting black finish. Along the side of the barrels is stamped 44 Magnum on the left side and 629 Classic on the other side, which is both discreet and tastefully done. The barrels on these are solid to the rest of the revolver, with no sloppy movement as can be found on some of the cheaper versions. Then we come to the beautifully machined cylinder, which again feels weighty and solid and has a smooth action, especially when you're spinning it over. You can always go with the immensely satisfying flick to close and get a hunk of complaints from countless people about how you shouldn't do it. But it flicks in with very little effort. Oh well, there's a few more comments. Opening the cylinder is the usual push forward on the dual action safety and then push through with your fingers. To load this, you can either drop in your preferred ammunition whilst it's still sat in situ in the cylinder, but where's the realism and fun in that? Drop them out and load them up in the back. And then individually slot them back in and carefully close up. At this point, it's worth noting that the cylinder doesn't suffer from any unwanted rattles as though everything is loose. The only sound is from the slight movement of those loaded shells. The trigger is broad and ridged metal. It is a single or dual action. Using the single action after cocking the gun manually means the trigger isn't turning that cylinder, and as such the pull weight is greatly reduced. The hammer has a really nice quality feel to it and a very satisfying action and sound, making the gun more involving in use. The grip, well, on the 629 it is a heavy quality rubberized item and wraps itself around a metal chassis. It isn't the type that slides away to reveal the CO2. This is a split open type and feels far more substantial and less likely to move in use. It can be split by simply parting the left-hand side of the grip using your thumb in the cutaway, and the grip splits into two. This not only reveals the space for the 12 gram CO2, but the built-in hex key to be able to tighten the CO2 in place, helping to make sure you never lose the tool that is often separated and lying around, begging to be misplaced on other versions. Slot in your CO2, ideally with a little drop of silicone oil to help prolong the life of those all-important seals. Then tighten it up, pop the grip back, and you're ready now for that Dirty Harry moment out on the back garden. With them all loaded up, let's pop them over the chrono, shall we? A multiple test really. I'll check both guns but with standard steel BBs and then try some standard weight lead pellets and some of the lighter alloy types and see how we fare. On the box it states up to 135 meters per second, which equates to a whopping 443 feet per second, which is quite high speed. Anyway, here goes. The smaller 5-inch firing 5.37 grain steel BBs saw 354 feet per second, which is 1.49 foot-pounds or 2.03 joules. Loaded up with some 8.64 grain BSA Gold Stars saw around 271 feet per second, which is 1.41 foot-pounds or 1.91 joules. Then with the lighter alloy green stars on board at 6.64 grain, it saw 262 feet per second, which is 1.01 foot-pounds or 1.37 joules. The last of these figures was a bit of a shock. I thought it would shoot better and faster with the lighter pellets, but it wasn't too happy with them. Maybe we'll have more luck with the 6.5-inch barrel version. Let's give it a go and see, shall we? Again, the standard steel BBs saw 362 feet per second, which is 1.56 foot-pounds or 2.12 joules. With the Gold Stars on board, it saw 277 feet per second, which is 1.47 foot-pounds or 2 joules. And finally, the lighter 6.64 grain Green Stars, it saw 243 feet per second, which is 0.87 foot-pounds or 1.18 joules. So again, it's not that happy with the lighter alloy pellets. I can only assume to achieve the claimed figures you'd need to be shooting some very lightweight BBs, or at the very least a much warmer day would help with the power levels. Let's take these out into the field now and see how they perform in the accuracy stakes, shall we? Again, using the intended BBs, and let's try some pellets as well. Certainly whilst we're out there we may as well. Here goes. Testing time. What a day! It is freezing. Probably the worst day you could actually choose to test CO2 pistols. But it's the driest, brightest day we've had so far. Windy as heck, around 10 degrees, so these are not firing to their maximum potential, and it's got a wind chill. It takes it down to about 3. My little fingers are going blue. But we have the 629 Classic 44 Magnum replicas, the latest ones, absolutely superb. The weight and feel of these is terrific. 6.5 inch, 5 inch, loading up with BBs, gold stars, and the alloy green stars. So without further ado, let's load them up and see what kind of results we're going to get from these, shall we? Join you on the other side. Okay, shouldn't do that. Out to 10 meters on this really windy day. Let's see what we can do, shall we? Is that it? Am I out? No, one more. Let's try some different ammo now. Here are the results. Interesting set of results, really. You see, using the BBs, the 5 inch maybe had the edge on it a little, but it was very close. Both the 6.5 and the 5 inch liked shooting the gold stars, and the grouping tightened up a reasonable amount, more noticeably using the 5 inch version. And neither of them really cared for the green star lighter alloy type pellets. Altogether, an interesting set of results from what is classed as a BB version, and both of these would demand the same care and attention that a full rifle would require to find out just what ammo they actually prefer. Blimey, that sounds like quite an interesting day. I must say, in use, this is one of the best Magnum type replicas I've tried. The quality, weight and feel is really very good. Are they an out and out target gun? No, they're not. And neither are they a pest control gun either, before anybody asks. They are an opportunity for you to own a quality replica-based gun that you can use and own without the need for a license or expensive ammunition, and one that you can use at home and thoroughly enjoy testing and exploring. I'm putting it down, it's heavy. Cost-wise, they're going to set you back a little over a couple of £100. But again, I stress these are the Umarex higher-end quality revolvers, and as such are likely to last you quite some time. They aren't ruined with bold painted warning notices all over, but instead have the classy logos etc. embossed into the metal and the rubberized grip. It must be said this design has taken many forms and is pushing its way into our familiar history, and is a very good example of it. This one has been very enjoyable, and either of these two would look really good in anyone's collection. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us the old thumbs up, subscribe, share and hit the notification alarm bell, and why not check out the forums and chats etc. They're getting really rather busy at the moment. Merch, of course, is available from Mrs. AR, and as always, a big thank you to the guys at Vector Air for getting hold of these for me to enjoy and review. Above all, and of course, mostly my thanks go to you guys for watching. It just leaves me to say, stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye for now.